Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. You are watching Jane Nicole Designs. My name is Eileen Winton, and good morning. We are in kind of one of those lows today. I was going to wear this shirt just all by itself, and good morning, Joy. I'm so glad you're watching. I was gonna wear the shirt all by myself, warmer shirt, and it is raining and super cold. Yesterday it was actually like 60 and I was so excited. I thought, oh, I'll get myself a new shirt, and then but I gotta wear something underneath it. So I don't know about you guys. Tell me how your weather's doing. Are you into spring yet, or is it still trying to lag behind? But today is one of those days where my husband and Jeffrey and I were talking the other day, and because of that that springtime weather and things like that, I think it is one of those where it is fair game for people to come and to, we live in a neighborhood, so they feel that it is okay just to drop literature or whatever off on your doorstep. So, in the last couple weeks, I kid you not, we could almost fill up our recycling little tray thing of just, come, let me do this for you. Let me, whatever it is. And you all know I have a big dog, and every time somebody comes to the door or whatever, it is a loud, barking. And so my husband was like, hey, what about putting a sign on our door that says, thank you, but no thank you. So that is what I'm gonna do today. It was one of those. I thought, okay, I'll make a sign that basically just says no soliciting. And so, sorry if you're one of those that love to do that. It's just one for us. Not that we don't want people coming to our house. It is just one of those where there is a lot of just paper and things that we end up, and if it rains, it goes on and blows away and whatever, and it gets on our lawn, and we have things that are laying around our house, and we don't like that. So today I'm going to be doing a no soliciting sign. And when we were thinking about this, it was one of those, we don't want to be rude. Don't want to do that, because I'm a small business. I get it. I understand that, word of mouth and things like that. That's totally fine. So I'm going to take this piece of wood. I actually, this is just an 8 by, let's measure it out here. It is a 11 by 11 piece of wood that I actually, one of the gals on Facebook, she's like, I have a bunch of scrap wood, $20. I have a ton of it. So I'm going to make a sign today, and I'm going to show you a couple different things that maybe some of the things I've done before, but I just want to let you know from start to finish kind of just what I do if I'm going to be making a sign. And I'm going to take my ring off today, put that up on my ledge there, and we're going to be doing some varnishing. We're going to do some chalk painting. And then I'm also going to show you, you hear the kind of a noise in the background. That is me being late this morning, and my Cricut is still going, cutting out the phrase that we're going to be using today. So, but in the process of that, we will just kind of, I'll show you step by step the process of how I make a sign, and using kind of like the farmhouse look. I want it to be able to last for a long time outside in the elements. So I just wanted to show you from start to finish what would be a great, process to be able to do that. So right now I haven't done anything to it. I just picked it out of the bin. Right now it feels like it is full of sawdust and things like that. So I am just gonna wipe it off and make sure that there isn't any, big pieces and chunks and whatnot. And this one here, this is not perfect. It's got a ding on the side. If you wanted to be able to make it look more weathered, take a hammer to it, and or sandpaper and whatnot, and do it like that. So, and I'm going to take this dent right here, and I'm going to actually put it on the back side. So I don't think you can really see that. So I'm pretty happy about that. So the other thing I just wanted to show you, I go to the dollar store Dollar Tree, and I get these mats. They're $1 a piece, obvious, or $1.25 now a piece. But I use these over and over again. They have paint, they have, I know I'm picking off glue and whatnot, so I would recommend to go do that. And then every once in a while, you know, when they get super dirty, I just toss them in the recycling or trash or whatever. And it just kind of saves my projects and things like that. I also do use, today I'm putting stuff on it, but I use a trivet that, hey Amy, I use a trivet that I can spin things around. And so I got this at Big Lots, I think for like $7. So you're welcome to do that. And then, you know, your projects are easy to move and whatnot. So do that. So where I'm going is we're going to be doing a sign, a no soliciting sign. And come along with me. Let me go run and get the vinyl and then we'll start. Okay, I'm back. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, and I have used this for a long time, maybe 2-3 years, and you barely can see what it is, but this is Rust-Oleum. It is a wooden stain, and I use this, this is ebony, this is black. So most of my projects, if I want them to, 90% of the time, good morning, Renee, 90% of the time I will put stain on it and then put my chalk paint on it no matter what. Even if I don't do a lot of, like, we're gonna do a technique where the words are gonna show through, but even if I don't do that, what I want is, if I'm gonna start to do sanding or making it look distressed and things like that, I wanna be able to make sure that that dark color comes through. So the first thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna stain this board, and I recommend just getting some gloves, because you want to make sure that if you're going to be using stain and then paint, you don't want that all over your hands and then get the stain in your white paint. So I always make sure that I have a few pair of gloves on hand and be able to do that. So I already opened this up, but I shook it a little bit. I don't want a bunch of bubbles. So I'm just going to take, this is a little pixie kind of thing. I'm just going to move it around and just make sure it does have a little glump. It's been sitting for a while. It's been a while since I've actually done a sign. So just keep that in mind if you're going to, you know, use stain. Just make sure that it is all, that those granules at the bottom are all, you know, mixed around. So I want to make sure that I don't have any clumps or whatnot. And let's see. Perfect. Okay. Let's make sure that I don't drip this all over. But look, it's ebony. It's super, super dark. So, all right. And I always keep on hand. These are just little tops of cans. I know one of the latest and greatest crazes is the tin cans, and I have quite a few of them I'm working on. So, I will have to show you. So after I've just taken the paper towel, wipe that off, I'm going to actually use my same towel, and I am just going to go in and I'm just going to start staining it. Do make sure that you have ventilated and make sure that you have a space that you're not going to get too keel over because of the smell of the paint. So just make sure that that's a good thing that you do. But see, I'm just going to paint, almost just rub back and forth, let the stain seep in. I am going to not do the back side. I will do the sides of the board because I want to make sure that it's dark. If you wanted to, and you know me, I'm the McDonald's person. I'd love to be able to get things done quick. You could do more than one coat, but for today's sake, I am going to just do one. And like I said, you just want to put a little bit on. This is paper towel. And just see how it soaks in. Rust-Oleum is a great stain. And like I said, I'm using ebony. So if you're watching for the first time, go ahead and put hashtag newbie. If you are gonna watch this is live, but if you're gonna watch it on the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay. That just lets me know when and where, and let me know where you're watching from. And before, like Joy said, she's got rain. It's not that great. Good morning, Jeff. I'm glad you're watching. So, like I said, if you're just hopping on, we are making a no soliciting sign. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I just want to make sure that everything is covered. It doesn't have to be super dark, but I just want to make sure that it's covered for this technique that I'm using. I don't want it too light. I do want some of the, I'm going back in some of the spots that are lighter. I'm just going to go ahead and put things in here. Okay. So make sure that either you put this in a plastic bag or something like that. When you throw it in the garbage, you can put it in your gloves, but I'm going to use these gloves a few times over. So I'm not going to do that today. So then the other thing is make sure that you put your lid back on your stain. And I have a cute little hammer. I make sure that my can is completely closed. And I'm going to show this again. This is ebony. It's from Rust-Oleum. Like I said, I've had this for like 3 years, something like that. And boy, I don't use it that often, but when I do, it's a really good one. Okay, so now I'm going to see how you get really dirty. And I just want to make sure that I don't make a mess. I'm going to clean my hands off just to make sure, because we're going to be using white paint today. And so I want to make sure at all times that I have clean hands. Okay, and then for a few seconds here, I'm going to shoot it with my heat gun. And this just kind of just solidifies. Make sure that when I put vinyl on it, that it's not going to come up too much. But like I said, you could let this dry for, an hour or so. It's a little bit tacky, so I'm going to wait until it's not as tacky. So let me know how you're doing this morning. Or in the day. I know sometimes people watch this in the evening and I refer to the morning all the time, but you know what I mean, right? Okay, so that's what we're gonna do for right now. And if I, like I said, if I was doing the long version, I would let this dry for a while. And this morning I was going to redo this, and then I ran out of time, and I thought, well, you know what? We're just going to do right now. Okay, so the next thing I was going to tell you guys, every once in a while I go to a sign making company and ask for their unused vinyl that's extra. And when I was in Washington, I went to Signpost, and they were so nice. They were like, sure, go ahead, take whatever you want, kind of thing. Here's the thing. And I got this ginormous roll of brown vinyl. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I'd be using brown vinyl all the time. But the cool thing is that you can use it for this project and not have to even worry about the colors. You can do anything you want. So we're gonna put this right here. And how I take my vinyl off is I always flip it over and then just pull underneath, just like that. And that helps it so when you pull it backwards or, off your mat, then it doesn't roll and pull up on the vinyl. So I'm gonna make sure I can see what I'm doing. I gotta get my readers on. And then So, awesome. All right, I'm gonna cut this so that let me get a lot of my supplies are not right in front of me, so I apologize on that one. I might be zipping off to get my supplies. There we go. So this is just gonna be extra. I always keep my extras for either little vinyl projects and things like that. But this is how it looks. Okay, you can't really see a whole lot, but I'm gonna take my corner and just peel backwards. And this might take a second or two. Just make sure this is professional vinyl that you would put like on a sign for a grocery store or anything like that. And so it's pretty thin. And so when I do this, I just want to make sure that when I pull this up, that it doesn't take the letters with it. So like right there. Let's make sure there is a letter there that did not go. There we go. And I've seen people where they rip it super fast, and I just don't have the courage to do that. So we're gonna take a few seconds here to do that. There we go. And it's okay. I know that there's nothing on the corner there, so. But this right here, there is a letter. There we go. That is not, there we go. Okay, toss that away. Not let it get on you. Oops, I got a piece stuck. Hold on. It is, it's pretty, the professional vinyl is very sticky. Okay. All right, I'm gonna move this piece around. There we go. Okay, and so once I do that, after I've gotten all this off, let me get my, yep, I need my, let's see if I can use it this way. Let's see if I can do this. Nope, it's not gonna work. Let me go get my tool. Hold on. We'll just take them all over here. I usually use, this is the Cricut, the little pick here. You can use a straight edge. And then when I do that, I always put your pieces of vinyl on either a place that you can, either the rest of this, that's fine. Just make sure that you don't get any rogue vinyl pieces that you are putting on. So you want to make sure. All right, and you're probably trying to read what this says. But let me get these out and then, hold on. I just picked off a piece. Hold on here. There it is. We're gonna have to make our own. Let's see. Let's do this one. There we go. Looks like I pulled off a piece. Oh, I'm gonna have to do that one again. It is around here somewhere, which I'm not gonna have time to find, but I'm gonna make my own. Because it's an okay letter for me to halfway make, right? Okay, so there's a part of an I here that I missed. I pulled it off while I was having such a great time doing that. So I am going to just make my own. That's what happens when you're live. You just kind of have to roll with the punch of what's going on. And I could go back and reprint this, but I'm already in. There we go. So that's kind of like it. There we go. Okay, let's go back to what we were doing. We're just gonna pick out the middles here. Make sure that, like I said, if there's any rogue pieces, go ahead and make sure that they're off your project and somewhere else. Okay. I do have a little piece right here I want to put back. And that's the cool thing about this project. You can improvise and use what you need to as you're going along. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you what this says. It says, no soliciting unless you're selling Thin Mints. So unless you're a Girl Scout cookie seller, we want to have you here. So, and I'm going to take this one. I think I'm going to move this around. I was going to keep it exactly as is, but because of the size of this, I'm going to put it where I want, it looks like. Okay. So I'm going to cut where I need to. And then I'm just going to kind of start playing around with where it is. You could keep it exactly the way it was printed, but I want to find out and see if I can make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I want to find out and just move a few things around. So if I wanted to do something like that, and that's the cool thing about making signs. You can do whatever you want. I think well, let me trim this. There we go. I think I like that, Okay, so now how do I get this on here so I can do what I need to do? There's two ways that you can do this. This is number one. This is duck counter, clear counter. It's like a film that you can put on your counters to line your counters. Or you can get, this is actually transfer tape, and I got this off of Amazon. And this one here has a really sticky background, and sometimes I would want that to work, but for this project, I really only want my letters to really stick down, and I don't want to have to worry about pulling any of this, the stain. I don't want to worry about pulling the little pieces of wood in the stain. So I'm just going to take, and we're just going to cut some pieces and make sure that we have enough to be able to put our pieces down. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. And that's why I say you could just put one big piece down and call it good. But I want to, you know, I wanted to be able to move things around. And so all I'm going to do is just peel it back. There's the little corner there. And yes, Jeffrey, you hear Dusty. He is by my side. He does not want to leave today. Okay, so there's one. I'm just going to put that down for right now. This morning I had the cat up here. She was hanging out. And then the dog. They just wanted to hang out with me today, I guess. And because of the rain, they really don't want to go and be outside or look outside much. So they're hanging out with me today. Okay, peel off that. Make sure that you get all of the, make sure that you get all of the letters underneath this clear tape here. All right. I know this is a little bit of a process, so Hang in there with me, huh? I can't wait to see if I see anybody after I put this sign out, if they actually leave stuff in my door. It could be. Okay. And then this last one here, we'll make sure that, yep, it goes over everything. Okay. Now, this is the fun part. If I want to put this on here, and I'm going to try this upside down. We'll see how this goes, you guys. We'll definitely, I might have to do this. There we go. Just see how I can get this. So I don't want to do it just too up and down. Okay, so this is how you do it. You just take it, make sure that it is pushed on there. I usually have a little branding. I'll show you what it is. This one here is from Cricut. This one here is from a good friend that was a sign person that did a bunch of designing and things like that. But go ahead and just scrape that on there so that when you pull it up, that it comes off. So, all right, here we go. I know that you can't see it very well. I'm going to scoot this up so you guys can get a bird's eye good view of it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just gonna put it on there. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself a little bit more than 2 fingers, and I'm gonna put these 2 down first, the top and the bottom, and then I will put things in the middle. And you know, like I said, if I wanted this super straight and, you know, I was selling this or something like that, I would definitely do a lot more measuring and things like that. But I just want to make sure that where I'm putting these pieces, that they're going to stay. All right, let's do this one. Okay. And then the last piece. All right, and I'm going to do about the same. Okay, so there we go. This is what it's looking like. All right, now I'm going to make sure that these letters are going to stick down as best as I can. And I'm just going to scrape alongside here. And when you pick a font like this, make sure that you pick something that is not too close together, that unless you're looking for, you know, you don't want the person to have to come up like right to the front door, but you want it to be able to let's see if this is gonna, there we go. We may have to, there we go. We may have to do it a different way, but let's look. What I'm wondering is if it is too sticky, and I might have to wait for it. Let's do this. Let's heat this a little bit. And there we go. There we go. That's a little bit better. You just want to make sure that the letters stay on the board and not, that's why I'm just using my fingers to make sure that they stay. And if that is not, I may have to use a different vinyl, but let's just keep going. I'm gonna persevere on this and make sure that these are staying on there. And it might just have to, be, okay, here we go. It might just have to be on, I'm gonna take this off. And it's just gonna have to be on the paint. Because right now, this is so oily that it's not sticking on the board. So let's jump to the next step and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do. We may just have to use those as the lettering that's gonna go on this. And so that's kind of how it happens. It's one of those where, you know, when you have something going on and you're like, well, maybe this is gonna work. We're gonna have to try plan B here. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna let those sit for a second. And we're gonna see how the letters take on the paint. And so let's do that next. And we'll see what happens. Move that out of the way. And when I do my paint, I like to do either some type of a brush that's bristly for smooth, or this is more of a thin brush where you use closer together strands. And then this one here is more of like a coarse. And I'm gonna try the coarse today. I wanna see what happens here. And I'm just gonna paint. This is just chalk paint. I'll show you what it is. It's Waverly. We'll see how this goes. And I just want to keep a good thin coat on here. There we go. See, and that's where I'm wanting that sheen that's gonna stick. And do you see how it's looking and shining through a little bit? I'm all right with that. If you wanted to, you could just completely do it white, and then you can take your sandpaper or sanding block, and you can make sure that it is completely white. But for this project, I just wanted it to be a little bit rustic looking. See how that is? It's just a little bit showing through in different spots. And then let's put it on our trivet here. And let's just do some white on the side. I just want it to be a little peekaboo for the dark. So let me know if you've done this technique before. If it's one of those where you're a sign maker and this is your go-to project. I think for me, I've made quite a few signs in being able to do Christmas presents and things like that. Okay. So now we are gonna have to wait for a few minutes to do the drawing here, because I want to make sure that this is gonna stick as well. So if you're watching, let me know where you're watching from, how your day is. Do you have plans for the weekend coming up? I know it's only Wednesday, right? But for me, it's one of those weekends. I told you I was doing my gardening and things like that, getting my my seeds and stuff ready, and I finally have my first little sprout of gardening. I have a pod that I put a bunch of seeds in, and now they are starting to come up. And of course, I wanted to have them come up yesterday, kind of thing, but it has been one of those. All right, so it is getting pretty dry. I want to make sure that this chalk paint is on there. So because of that oil from the other vinyl, it wasn't sticking at all. And so I don't want to fight the vinyl and then end up not having it stay on there. So I want to make sure that this is completely dry. And so that's what happens sometimes when you do projects. It's one of those where you have something in your mind and it's like, oh, I think that'll work. And then unless it comes to fruition, we'll see here. And I think I will like better the darker letters. I think if I had them like blue or pink or something like that, I wouldn't do it. But I think because they're brown, they might work with my theme just as well. Okay, so let's do a little test and see if they are, if this is okay enough to do that. So let's put this back on here. Oh, I do actually. What do you guys think? I really like that. So maybe this mistake is a good thing, right? There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna try it again. And I'm just gonna take, this is the Cricut one. I'm gonna do this and see if this works. Let's just try it. Yep, there it is. Okay. So let's make sure each of these little tags on the end of the letters, I just want to make sure that they are stuck down well. There we go. See? Ha! So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it back at a 45-degree angle and just make sure that each of these little pieces stay on. Let's go ahead and put the other ones on so they can stay where they need to be. And like I said, you're just gonna have to play with the different mediums and making sure that what's gonna stick and stay. So I'm gonna put that. Let's make sure I don't lose all my pieces here. And I want to make sure that it is looking intentional how I did this. What do you guys think? There? No, is that crooked? I'm looking at I'm looking at it upside down. I want to make sure that it's straight. Yeah, I think so. You usually hand letter? Yeah. You know what? I know that Joanne's has, Joy's commenting here. Joanne's and Michael's have some lettering and things like that you can do in vinyl, but my thing is if I had no other, if I had to sell all of my crafting stuff and keep one thing, that would be my Cricut. I have owned 3 of them. 1, 2, 4 of them. I've owned 4 of them, and I have given 3 of them away. So when I get a new one, the first one I owned was the little the 12x6 Cricut machine, and they had the cartridges and all that kind of stuff. And I gave it to my sister Christine because she wanted to try it out, and I bought a new, you know, the 12 by 12. And she was like, oh yeah, I want to try it out and see. And I was like, here you go, see how it is. And she got it, took it home, and then she actually decided to pick her. She decided to get a larger Cricut, and she gave the one that I had given her to a friend. So I am one of those where it is definitely one of those pieces of equipment that I totally would not be able to craft without. And you know, I do my t-shirts. I cut vinyl with my t-shirt for my t-shirts, and making sure that yeah, I wouldn't be able to do my Jane Nicole designs without my Cricut. It is my, I only have one, so I think if that, you know, is one of those things where if it breaks or dies, I definitely will go out and get a new one. So what I'm doing here is I'm just making sure that each of these little edges are pushed down before I start pulling back on the piece of counter tape here. I just want to make sure, and I just kind of roll it back and forth, making sure that each of these pieces are down. If there was a font that had a little bit more bubbly, I would just go a lot quicker, but I want to make sure that I don't start pulling off you know, parts that I want to keep on the board here. So it looks like I will definitely keep and use this brown. I think it's really neat. So I just want to make sure, and it might take me a few minutes. I hope you guys don't mind. I want to make sure that it goes on and stays here. Like I said, this is commercial vinyl, and it's a little bit shiny on the finish of it, and so I want to make sure that it stays where it's going to be. And some of these, this is vinyl that's pretty thin, so if you were using like vinyl that is like Oracle is a vinyl that's pretty thick, and I would having less, you know, less when it would come up, I think it would be less difficult in that regard. But like I said, this is one of those where this is a project that is turning into being something that is the next plan, because like I said, I originally had decided I wanted to put this down and then paint white over it so that the letters came in darker, but because it didn't work out that way, I'm totally fine with it though. I'm going to use this regardless. So, and it just all depends too on how much paint you've put on. This right here had less paint on it, so I was just a little bit more careful that the pieces of vinyl didn't come up, because that the varnish was, the stain was coming through, not the varnish, the stain that we were using. And that stain does have almost like a wax in it, so that it when it dries, it will, it'll have like almost like a coating on it. So like I said, it's really hard. I want to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing, but like I said, it's definitely one of those where you got to be a little bit more tedious on this, making sure that these little corners, yeah, that they stay down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to varnish this with clear, and then it will seal in these letters and make them, you know, stay on the board. So I'm not worried about if they're a little bit tacky and that they come up on the sides, but when I put that varnish on there, it will definitely make it stay down to the board. So we'll swing it around so you can see that one. The T was kind of hard to get off, so I want to make sure that it stays where it's supposed to be. And like I said, you can push your finger down there where those little, right here where there's these little pieces from the lettering that are just starting to peel up. And you could also take your this counter tape and put it on a towel or something like that to make it less sticky. So there's little tips and tricks that, you know what, if I was sitting here, I might even try something like that before the next time if I do this again. But like I said, it's live and it's fun. And I'm one of those where I love a challenge and things like that, where you've got to problem solve in the moment, and I like that. I'm okay with that. And I don't give up too easy. So there we go. And like I said, I'm just taking, after I'm done there, I'm just going to push the lettering down with my finger. There we go. I think some of them, from before, they were just pulling up just because, like I said, if you took and took the clear tape and made it less sticky. Now, if I would have done the other one, the one that has the grid, that is like a super stick that I use on glass and things like that. So I can imagine, I'm very thankful I did not use that one, but that I just used, you know, a less stickier transfer. Let's see here. All right. There we go. And then if I wanted to, I can go back and just look and see if there's different, places here. Like this has a little bubble. I'm gonna just push it down with my finger. Make sure that the lines here, like this right here it's a thin font. So I'm just gonna pick it up and then push it back down. And vinyl is really forgiving in that way. You wanna make sure, good morning, Ron and Jan. Sorry, I'm right in my project trying to make sure that it sticks, and I do go back and read my comments. So do make sure if you comment, you're welcome to say anything you would like, whether it's tips and tricks and hello to everybody. Start a little chat going on. There we go. You are welcome to. So I do, like I said, I go back and watch the videos and make sure that I'm not telling you things on the fly that are not correct, and just to make sure that what I'm doing is a good instruction. I love that. I love teaching. Love being able to inspire people to either an aha moment in their crafting or just in life. It is one of those. Definitely one of my favorite things to do. So when I started my crafting journey, I was a scrapbooker and card maker by, I used to do Close to My Heart, and it's a stamping company at the time, and then it moved into, oh, somebody's coming around the bend here. But I started doing that, teaching classes and things like that. And then 22 years later, I decided, oh, I'll stop selling that kind of stuff, and ended up to have some life changes that I ended up not being able to do parties and things like that. And so I just kind of put it away for a while and didn't do any big crafting things until a few years ago. I was like, you know what? I'm not done with crafting. So thankfully I kept all my stuff, got rid of some of it, most of the, you know, the big bulky stuff that wasn't very friendly of being able to store some things. But then I pulled some of it back out and started crafting again. And I love it. It's definitely when life, I have a hard day, I come down here. I have actually a whole room in our house that I get to craft. I'm so thankful. And I don't know about you. How many of you are like, yep, this is my getaway. This is my time to create and have fun. And I don't know if in life, that kind of thing, it's so fun to be able to do that. All right, I'm on the home stretch, I promise. This is one of those where I just don't want to hurry up and do this and then have some of these letters fall and come off. There we go. And of course, when you put the tape down and then you go back over it, sometimes it still sticks again. So just play around with it and make sure that where you want it to go is where it's staying. All right, a couple more and then we're done. There we go. All right, perfect. Whew. Thanks for hanging in there with me, I tell ya. It is one of those. Okay, so let me put this down. All right, so here's my sign. No soliciting unless you're selling Thin Mints. So Girl Scouts, come on to our house. You are welcome to do that. Here's a side story too. When my husband Jeffrey proposed, he had roses, the ring, and a box of Thin Mints. So Thin Mints and us in the Girl Scouts, we have a soft spot in our house. So every year I think we buy like 10 boxes. And the best way, I don't know about you guys, but the best way to have Thin Mints is to leave them in your refrigerator. We had friends that about a month ago that they're like, this is what you do. And oh my, Thin Mints in the refrigerator, take them out, a cold glass of milk, and they are amazing. So if you still have some, I think we have one box left. I mean, I think like we had 12, but now we only have one box left. That is what you do. That is my best way. So, and also let me know, what is your favorite Girl Scout cookie? Ours is Thin Mints, and then I think the lemon ones, there you have some new lemon cookies, and then the Samoas or something like that, what they're called. So let me know your favorite Girl Scout cookie. Okay, so after we do this, we have the vinyl on here, we're ready to go. I want to seal this and make sure that if it gets rained on or something like that, that it is always covered and sealed. So how I do that is this is a brush I use with paint, whatever, it doesn't matter. This one here, I turn it upside down and swirl it. If you go shake, 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 it puts bubbles in it. And I want to make sure that I don't have too many bubbles in my, or on my project. So I just kind of swirl it around back and forth. And then go ahead and just and we're just going to put a little thin coat on there. And this is shiny varnish, and I'm okay with that, even though that, you know, it's got the rugged look. But most of all, I want to go over, you see where it's shiny there? I want to go over to make that vinyl stick onto my project. And so I'm just going to do a thin coat. And make sure that you get in between. I go up and down and side to side. And then when I do varnish, I like to go one way. So I just go from one side to the other. There we go. And then when I make sure that I always do this. I make sure that I look on each of the sides here and that I haven't missed a spot. and check your projects and things like that multiple times so that it's not going to, you know, absolutely make it horrible, but every once in a while when I get a little spot that I missed in varnish, it starts to yellow and things like that in you know, kind of like an uneven way. And I don't want that. I want to make sure that everything on my board is okay. There we go. And I'm going to twirl my trivet around a little bit because now it's getting to the point where I don't want to touch it with my hands. And like I said, this is varnish. I got this at Walmart. It was a few dollars. I think it was like $6 or something like that. And it does a really good job of sealing in if you are, you know, in rain and things like that. If you make porch signs and things like that, that you want to make sure that in the weather that it's okay. All right, so I think I just want to make sure. Yep, everything is covered. And then, you know me, I'm one of those, I either have a little jar of water and soap, or I can take, this is a baby wipe, and I just go ahead and wrap it in the baby wipe. Those are two ways that you can do things while you're doing your projects, because you don't want that varnish to ever, you know, set up, dry, and then you've got a bristle. So, oh, Mom, you just came from your craft room. Oh, how fun. I love it. I know. And my mom, she's one of those where growing up, I had the most fun watching her do, like at Christmas time, she would do, I remember one year she did angels, and they were out of styrofoam, and she took on the table and carved out little cheeks and things like that in that styrofoam ball, and then put this little nose on, and then she covered it with like almost like a Mod Podge, like a cloth that had glue and things like that on it, and she covered the whole thing and then painted and then put hair. I mean, it's one of those where no wonder I have this like major, like I want to be crafting, because my mom did a great job of just that example of being creative and daring and things like that. So it comes through the genes, I think, as well. So, all right, let me do this really quick. I'm going to make sure that this dries. And like I said, we're just going to make it tacky, because I have one thing that I really, every sign that I like to do, I like to make it my own, because this is okay, but I don't want to just put it like this. I think this is great, but for me, I need a little bit more pizzazz. But I want to make sure that this is dried enough so that if I touch it, that the varnish doesn't come off. And this is just my heat gun for embossing. It's not as loud. I usually use my hair dryer, but my hair dryer is so loud. Okay. Go ahead and tap it. Make sure that it is completely dry. Okay, for right now, that's good enough. And do you see how it actually, if you look at it, it turned matte. So it's not super shiny, but when you have it dry, it does kind of like a matte finish. Okay, so this would be great on its own. I did this on purpose. I made sure that I had room to do what I'm going to be doing. So I love to just kind of give it a little bit of a touch of myself in here. So I am going to just do a little bit of floral on here. And I want to make sure that when I do this, that it doesn't cover up my letters. So I'm going to be a little bit strategic in what I do. But we're just gonna make a little arrangement here. And today I'm going to use, this is from, it's called Celebrate It. It is ribbon from Michaels. And I just want to take and do a simple bow. I don't want anything too crazy that they're going to look at the bow and then not read this and then walk up, put my, put the stuff on there, and then I still have stuff at my front door. So I'm going to take, this is about almost a yard, I think it is. Not, because usually it's about 3 feet. This is about 2.5 feet. And we're just going to play with this. So every once in a while, I could, for bows and things like that, I could do the, the floral bow and things like that. But today I'm going to do something a little bit more simple. And so all I'm going to do is just take this little round, I'm going to pull it over, and I'm just going to hold it with my fingers. Then I'm going to make sure that the back of this here, I'm going to put underneath right where I'm going to squish this together. So that's what it looks like, but I'm going to squish together like that. So I don't want a bunch of fluffy bows. I just want a loop on each side. And so I'm going to just kind of play around with it a little bit. I think I want the middle of it to be a little bit smaller. So I'll scrunch that up. That's the middle of my bow. And then I'm going to take the end and put it on the end there. Let's do it this way, just like that. So there I have it. That's what I'm going to squish together. And then I'll take the middle here and then just put it to the middle there. Then now I can play around with it and look and just see where I want that bow. So that's a really good way. And it's, the cool thing is sometimes you have to twist and things like that. And I get kind of lost in the twisting and things, and then my bows don't turn out as exactly as I'd like them to. So this is a really good way if you just kind of want not a big, huge, fluffy floral bow, just something pretty simple. And then if you would like to, you're welcome just to take a piece. And I don't want this too long because I don't, like I said, I don't want it covering up all of my lettering. So I'm just going to take a piece, put it on the back side of it. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. And then I'm going to take a piece of floral wire and just go through the middle right where my finger is. And then go ahead and tie it, just make it tight in the back here. And I always do extra long, and then I can cut pieces off if I want to. This here, thankfully, this is good wire ribbon that is double-sided. I love that. So I say Michaels has had some really fun ribbon right now, and they're doing some spring sales and things like that. I don't know about you guys, but my Michaels is pretty small. It's not as plentiful in stock, but what it does have, I'm super happy with. Okay, so there we go. I'm just gonna leave that little lump there in the middle, and then, like I said, go ahead and decide if you want a big fluffy ones. You can do whatever you would like. If you wanted to, here's another way. You can pull that in. See how that is? And then you can make another loop if you would like. Let's do that, and I'll show you. Go ahead, because it is wire ribbon, and then just go ahead, squish it in the middle. There you go. Isn't that fun? I love it. Okay, and now I have these tails down here. I will dovetail, and so how you dovetail is hold it in half, cut it at an angle, And there you go. And I don't want it that sharp. I want a dovetail, but I don't want it too sharp. There we go. So just a little on the side. Okay. So there's my bow right now. All right. I'm going to take my bow here, and I'm going to actually, I don't need this much of my wire, so I'm just going to trim this off. Make sure that you pull the wire in so you do not get yourself with the wire. We want to make sure that you don't poke yourself. All right. Okay, so here we go. That's what I'm looking at. All right, and now I'm going to take and I'm going to trim up my pieces of, this is eucalyptus, and I have a big bunch of this, and I just keep adding it to all my projects until it's going to be done. But I want to make sure that I put it in a spot. This one I'm going to make into 2 pieces, I think. Yep. There we go. And I'm just kind of make it look a little, you know, you just play around with it. See if you like 1 or 2 pieces, 3. I usually, when I do a floral arrangement, I usually use lots of 3 because I want to make sure that it's pleasing to the eye to be able to do that. And as you see, I'm just taking my my piece of wire here, and I'm just bending it over so it looks a little bit more finished here, because I will have one of these little pieces sticking out. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we're ready to put it together. So let me get that going. We'll trim these off a little bit so they're not sticking out of the middle of nowhere. There it goes. All right, so now I have my glue gun, and you guys know my glue gun is my friend. This is from Gorilla, and I use the Gorilla glue as well. I get it at Walmart, and I love it because it has a tiny little nose here on the end because it's so precise. It's so cute. And so first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put a glob here, about a ½ an inch long, and I'm going to position my bow so that it doesn't cover up my lettering and things like that. Oops, I need a scissors. Use the right tool, right? Okay, and I'm just gonna hold that there for a second. If you need to, the Dollar Tree has these. These are little finger savers. I don't know what you call them, but it helps so that you can push things down and not get burnt. So I love it. Okay, so if I wanted to, I'm going to, because around our front door, it is windy. So I am going to actually glue down the spots where I want my ribbon to stay, because I just want to make sure, and I'm going to actually bend it a little bit so that it kind of has a little bit of a character. But go ahead and do whatever you would like. And then I want to make sure that, like I said, let's put a couple less on here. I want to make sure that my words, you can see my words. There we go. There, I'm just going to tuck that one in. And this I will put on the stem and then just tuck it up in my in the bow there, because I'm going to put the little piece right here. And like I said, I don't want my, I'm going to trim this off. I don't want my letters to be, I don't want my letters to be covered up. So there we go. All right, let's make that so it fits in there nicely. And you could do springtime flowers. You could do whatever. This is one of those projects where I'm going to keep it up all year round. So I want to do a project where, you know, it could be, this could be Christmas, it could be springtime, it could do, you know, serve many, many purposes. There we go. And I'll put this one here, this one back on. And like I said, if you want to, I might even add a flower or something. I do have these little cute flowers that I could put. I mean, there's so many things that you could do, but I just want to make sure that you can read the sign to be able to, yeah. And I almost put on here, please, but then it's like, once you end up, too many words on there, then it might be too distracting, and then they might stay. So let's see, I'm going to do just like that. Okay, so let's put a little bit of glue there, and I'll put this in the corner, and I'm going to leave the stem here on the end just for some interesting. And then I think I really like that. Now that I put that on there, I really like the flower on there. So I'm just going to cut off the end of this flower. We're going to put one on the top. That's to say, today's project, it is not exactly how I planned it, but you know what? I think it is turning out amazing. So like I said, crafting journeys are definitely a journey. All right, so we're going to put one down here, just like that. Put that right there, and then I think I'll do one on the side here. I know that looks funny, but wait until we're done. I'm going to turn these, push that down. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Perfect. We'll put this one on and make sure that you load up on the glue. If you wanted to and you really want to make sure these are going to stay, you can put glue gun, and then you can also put E6000. This is a glue that you can use in conjunction with the glue gun, and that just, it bonds, but it's flexible. It's really nice glue, but I don't think I need that today. Okay, so get that down there, make sure that it's sticking. I want this glue to set up because there's quite a bit of glue on there. Okay, let's make sure things don't fall out. We don't want our projects to fall apart. Absolutely not. Let's move this off to the side, and I could futz around with this a little bit and move things, and like you said, there's a lot that we could do. I'm going to twirl this. Let's get this one. I'm going to twirl the top here so this does not, the leaves don't come off. There we go. Okay, so here we go. No soliciting unless you are selling Thin Mints. All right, so the last thing that I wanted to do with this, I want to be able to hang it somewhere. And I'm just going to show you, this is how I'm going to hang this. Flip it upside down, and I have, these are from the hardware store, and these are just little hangers that you can put on the top. And for time's sake, I will just show you what they are, because I'm going to actually get they come with these little tiny nails, and I don't feel like that's going to be enough for me. So I'm going to run out into the garage and rifle through my husband Jeffrey, some of his nails and things like that, and I will put longer nails that are in there. But that is how I would finish it off, and just go ahead, and you could do a ribbon, you could do anything to be able to keep this up on your front door. But like I said, crafting is a journey, and like I said, today was one of those where I ended up just completely doing something different because of, you know, the circumstances of putting on the vinyl and things like that. But I think it turned out amazing. So if you decide that you want to do this, if you have any questions or need some tips and things like that from what we started out with to how it ended up, let me know in the comments. I so appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, and you have a great evening and a wonderful weekend, and we will see you back here next time on Jane Nicole Designs. Thanks for watching.